I'm Dee up with Inside Pool Extreme News. This is the What's in the Case portion of our show, and joining me is Oscar Dominguez from California. We've asked him to empty out his case, and let's start with on, I guess, left to right. We'll start with your break cue.
All right, well, here's a Predator Poison that I got. It's a 3-piece brake jump. I really don't like to use it for jumping, but it's a great brake cue for me. It works pretty good.
You like that grip?
Yeah, actually, it's a great grip. Yeah, it's especially when you're in a long session, your hands are getting a little sweaty. The rubber will absorb it pretty well. So.
And you have a pretty unique follow through with your brake.
Yeah, it's a little extreme. I remember practicing my brake, and my dad's like, try braking like Johnny Archer for once, and I liked my results, and I just started kind of imitating.
Hey, it works. It works. And what kind of tip does that come with?
It comes with a phenolic, so I don't approve of it, but I have another shaft but I left at home that's leather. So
when you say you don't approve, do you prefer a different kind of tip for braking?
Yeah, I prefer the leather.
Like a hard.
Yeah, I have more control with it.
Okay. And let's go on to your beautiful playing cue.
Yeah, it's Ed Pruitt custom cue. He's out of Marina Del Rey, California. All the shiny stuff is silver. It's a very fancy cue, pigskin leather. Something like this will retail for about $7,000 to $8,000. So it's a pretty unique piece of art. And I got 3 shafts. I actually have 8 shafts with it, but I only carry 3 with me. And that's very snooker shafts, as you can tell.
That's gorgeous. And this is ebony, and what are
those are abalone shells into ivory. So, and bird's eye maple form with silver veneers.
It's gorgeous. What material is this?
That's just regular Delrin. I preferred non-ivory. I didn't want an ivory joint, and I preferred a non-ivory butt cap because I don't want it to swell and compress with altitude changes.
I understand you said you just gave him free rein with this cue. You said, make me a cue, and...
Yeah, pretty much it. I mean, I just told him I wanted something that was playable but kind of fancy at the same time. And this is what he turned into me. It's really fancy for me, but, he's a great guy, a great cue maker, and it's a great investment.
Excellent. Now tell us, speaking of your playing shafts, you have very narrow taper on your playing shafts. They kind of go in order here. Tell us what the taper is on these.
Well, it ranges. I mean, depending on what kind of cue ball I use and, the humidity, sometimes I have to use a lot more power, so I go with a thicker shaft. The first shaft, this one runs about an 8 and change. I'm not exactly sure. I stopped measuring because I really don't want to measure. I'm kind of scared. And the second one here, this is about a little bit thicker. It's a little stiffer shaft. It's about a 9.4, 9.5. And the thickest shaft, which is the newest one that I got, it's the cleanest, as you can tell. That one, it's about almost a 10. It's about a 10.
So for you, you don't try to keep your shafts like broken in. You just, for what type of game you're playing and what ball you're using, that's what shaft you determine.
It's mainly the ball. Sometimes if I feel like my shaft is bending too much, it's like I'm forcing the cue too much, then I'll get the thicker shaft. But if the cue ball is light, then I'll use a small shaft because I feel like I have pretty good control.
And what kind of tip do you use?
I use sniper tips. Snipers, and every once in a while I might throw in a kamui, but snipers mostly.
Do they come in soft, medium, or hard?
No, snipers come in one standard. But the kamuis, I usually like the medium softs.
Excellent. And this is a brake cue with an extension, jump cue, with an extension.
Yeah, it's a 3-piece jump cue. A local cue maker, his name's Juan Rios. He's out of Santa Monica, California. It's just a part-time cue maker, and it's a pretty good jump cue. It's pretty effective, and for me it works. I haven't really... Eddie Pruitt, I know, is in the process of making me one, but for right now this works really well.
And that has like a 1-piece phenolic ferrule tip built in, right?
Yes, it does. So it works pretty well.
Okay. And I love this guy.
Yeah, the Tony Ryan cue extender. Yeah, this is saved me. It's the best $25 I spent, put it that way. Yeah, that's it. It's a great tool. I bought it at the US Open probably about 2 years ago.
Okay.
And, it works great.
Nice. We've got some tokens for the tables here.
Yeah, well, it's for the action. Little souvenirs from the action.
Excellent. And your towel. Visine, tell us why you need your Visine.
Well, I had LASIK performed July of last year, and after about 2 or 3 hours of playing nonstop, my eyes are getting dry. So I always have to carry Visine with me, so that really helps me out a lot.
Excellent. Baby powder, of course. Do you usually use that?
Yes, every match. I don't use a lot like the Filipinos or Gabe Owen, but I like a little dab of it.
Okay, we have our spot sitting right next to the spot here. Now? Why do you keep spots in your case?
Table mechanic always has spots.
right.
You never know. I mean, that's what I like to carry. I don't know. It's just a little habit of mine.
Now, if you show up to a match and the table has no spots on it, are you gonna whip out your spots?
Oh,
And put one?
absolutely. Absolutely.
Excellent. All right, and this is a kind of scuffer shape.
Yeah, it's just a little tip tool. It's a keychain tip tool. It works pretty well. I found it in my brother's room one day, and I said, "What is this doing here?" And I loved it. It works pretty good. So.
All right, and we've got, of course, our blue diamond chalk.
Yeah, blue diamond. Very expensive chalk, but it's
worth
pretty
it.
well worth it. Yeah.
Just the bridge. You prefer the just the bridge over a traditional moose head?
Yeah, I really do. I mean, it's every once in a while a moose head might have a rough edge on it, and it will damage my shaft, and I don't want to send my shafts anymore. So it's got that felt lining, so it protects it pretty well.
Okay. What kind of grit sandpaper we have there?
I believe it's 2,000, and the other one is 1,500. Usually you put the 1,500 first, take out any dirt, and the 2,000 is just a seal.
Okay. And then this chunk of.
It's actually, all it is a wooden block with, I believe, 60 grit sandpaper and 80 grit sandpaper. It's pretty much to reshape my tip. For me, I've always found that instead of using a tip tapper, I like to use that one. It kind of digs into the tip a lot better. A lot of three-cushion billiard players use that concept.
And then, of course, we have our coat check tag.
Yes. Yeah, the coat check tag, for over here at the Derby, and it's freezing outside, in case you haven't been outside. It's freezing.
There's a blizzard going on outside. Now, do you normally use your case? Does this case double as a wallet for you when you're at tournaments?
Oh, absolutely. I have a ton of change. I'll put in my passport in there. Anything important I put in there because it never leaves my side. So,
Very
multi-purpose.
good. And I understand this is your travel case, right? It's a little bit lighter than your usual.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a little bit lighter. It's more of a beat-around case. I have a Joe Porper at home that I use mainly.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Oscar. This is great.
No problem. My pleasure.
All right. Again, Oscar Dominguez with me, Sam Diep, Inside Pool Extreme News. Make sure you tune into InsidePoolMag.com for more great videos.